Alright, so Becky here on the ground, and then her second pose, but I'm also going to have to model the mud underneath her. That kind of works. So that's too big. So one thing I try to keep in mind when I'm modeling is to kind of not necessarily completely 100% copy the sketch, but get the feeling of it pretty close. Closest you could stay faithful to a sketch, the better it's going to come out. Okay, so that's that part, and then you just have to connect the back. Smooth this out. This is a thing you gotta do a lot, is make the mouth more defined. So the weird thing about Becky is she doesn't really have teeth ever. Sometimes, but most of the time not. And I don't know, it's just kind of like how the style evolved. I think some people might think it looks like a mistake, but whatever. Sometimes the like shittier the model like this, like almost is better because it looks more handmade, which is kind of what I'm going for. That's kind of fucked up. The great thing about 3D, specifically sculpting like this, is no matter what you do, everything is still correct in a sense. Mostly when you're doing like kind of like cartoony stuff, like, well, pretty much only, but like, you know, when you're drawing, like, you could absolutely like not draw something that makes sense in 3D space, but when you're sculpting it, like, even if it's not anatomically correct, like, it still makes sense within 3D space, because it is 3D, obviously. So, like, you could kind of get away with stuff being sloppy, because it's gonna look good when it's lit. It's just gonna look handmade. And it's okay if Becky isn't 100% consistent between all shots, because that kind of gives it the, you know, 2D animation charm. Follow the pattern here. Give it a beefy enough of a bottom, which is how we like all our women, of course. And that's looking fine. Yeah, so I really only model, like, for the mud part. I'm not going to model this whole ground. I actually tried that for one of the shots, and it was a foolish mistake, because you only need the part where it touches, and then, like, you just have that be the same material as the floor. You just put it over, and then you have a few more little mud piles that you kind of disperse across the area, so it just looks more naturalistic. And you only need to animate this part. Looking good. Should be all we need. I might do slight adjustments to the body. Alright. Alright, so that was the dreaded step 1, where, that's the part I always don't want to do, even though it's, like, the simplest part and easy. I guess just, you know what it is I used to have to unplug my monitor and then plug in the VR every time I needed to use it, but now I changed my setup, and I don't have to do that anymore, but I think that, animosity remains, even though it's pretty easy to go in and out. So, now we do the next part. So we're going to import the FBXs. No, here it is. Okay. So, you know, before I do anything, I'm going to import the second one just so we have some size consistency. I usually don't do this just because I don't want to put too many polygons in the scene. But I think we're fine. Alright, so let me explain the quad remesh thing real quick. So from going directly from medium to blender, it like, I think it even is like this when you're working, but it has to like triangulate the mesh, and basically, yeah, you see this, it makes all these tiny polygons here, and this is not good for animating, and it's just generally too much for what it is. But the way you used to have to optimize your scenes is do something called retopologizing. You kind of just go around your model and model over it, and that is a pain in the ass, and nobody likes to do that. But I was gonna say unfortunately, but not. There's this add-on called the Quad Remesher, and this is not just Blender. This is in a few things where it basically will just do that for you, like basically perfectly. And I always felt like this was something an AI could do anyways, and I'm glad it can now. For stuff I know needs a bit more polygons, I usually do 500, and then I keep the adaptive size pretty high, and then I remesh it. So this also chugs for a minute, but we can see at the bottom it's doing it. And we're almost there, and we're done. And this is a new mesh, but now it's clean, and I literally can't tell the difference, so that's good. So we just do that for everything. It also just hides the old one for now. Usually the way it goes is her body, her mouth are high, and then everything else is lower. So you do lose some detail, but you don't lose that much, and it is worth it to have something actually usable. Alright, so we're going to keep it the same for the mouth too. And now I think we're all set. So we got everything. And what I usually do is I just move it, and then I uncheck all the hidden ones. And this is our old meshes that we don't need anymore, so just get rid of that. So now that's good, and now we have to do the same for this Becky. So now we're all good. So now everything's remeshed. Also, you see the naming convention is fucked, but I'm kind of an awful person, and I usually don't even... Well, actually, it doesn't matter, and I'll show you why. So, now that we have these Becky models, let's import another one. I usually just use this Becky as reference for the materials. So you'll see this, she already has her shit, so yeah. Just go through it. And also I'll turn on the nice, one of my little secrets is I use this, it's not really a secret, but it's you can't even see it, I just noticed because my webcam outmoved me, but there's this screen space ray tracing thing, which is I think that's a thing they're going to put into official Blender soon, but it's basically, it fakes global illumination in a better way than Blender does natively. If you've seen Unreal Engine's Lumen, it might be similar tech, I don't know, but there's limitations to it, but it makes stuff look nice. So now you'll see, like if I turn it off, like the shadows are just kind of black, but like different bits, like the color of her mouth is like causing her shadows to also be a similar shade, and it just makes things look better. So yeah, then we got a completed Becky there. So there we go. We got the mud in there. So that's everything we need for this shot. So now I will I'm gonna check Discord message. Yeah, so, you know, I'll show this, because why not? Today was interesting because, it, like, flooded outside my house today. So it rained, like, super hard for, like, a few hours, and it flooded. But yeah, so you can see this shit, where my whole I think it's still kind of like this now, not as bad. Yeah, it hasn't been this bad in literally, like, a decade. Probably longer. So you see me walking in it. There's my dad. And you'll get a better shot of it in a second. This fucking kid was canoeing for my dogs. Got to let them go out in it. I think they enjoyed it, but Maggie's kind of scared of this Bruno right here. Yeah, but no, this is just a fun thing. Like, you can't not do some exploring. There's this kayaking kid. To be honest, this seems fun. Alright, so back to Becky. So now, this is everything we need for the shot. Yep, okay. So now it's just one thing. And the reason I do that is because, the way I animate is, mostly through just either moving it all by itself and then having a lattice over it to kind of give it some secondary motion. Or I use key mesh, which is another add-on where I can kind of animate things on their own. So yeah, I don't need these to all be separate meshes. Like, I just keep them separate to apply the materials, and now you'll see, if I move myself, it has all the materials there. So, as you know, well maybe, I don't know, but Eye of the Terrier was all Maya and rendered in Arnold, except one shot, which is the shot of, the really twisty, weird one where it zooms in on Bubble in the beginning. That's when I used Quill, which I don't really use Quill anymore just because I don't really like the aesthetic of it that much. And I just, there's so many options, it just didn't gel with me, really. But yeah, so I just use Blender now for the most part. It's Maya for some commission work, but not in a while. Now I need to know what scene I'm working on. So this is 2-21. Alright, so now that's done. So now we make a new one. And we open, let's see, where did I have it? It's in here. Oh, here it is. So here's the big set I've been working on. This is the first time, not really, but I've been working with this big ass set I made for all these shots. So yeah, this is the big mud area set, where it has most of the lighting done. I usually don't show this area. Basically what it's been is Becky's getting launched over near this area here, and the snails are here. But there's been a lot of liberties taken where stuff is positioned, but it doesn't, hopefully it doesn't matter. Okay. So there we go, here they are. Actually, they're positioned right for once, because this is happening over here. Pretty much there, actually. Oh wow, look at that. That's fun. It's actually kind of useful. About there works. Maybe closer. I don't know. I'm thinking too much on this right now. Okay, so what did the last shot look like of her? I guess we haven't really been over here yet. So here's been my little trick to making shit not look stupid. I just kind of duplicate what I already have. But the thing is, you also, you gotta keep in mind, you don't want to, you want to make sure that the composition is still good. You can't just move things around willy-nilly. Oh god, the lighting is terrible. Okay. let's see, should I move the sun? What is it like right now? How are the shadows going? Okay, so she's out in the open, they're like sideways. So it shouldn't be like that. Something like this might work. This is a super simple trick that I never... For a while I was like, how do I do pull focus? If, like, with the focus object thing, it only works to, select the object you're working on. You can't keyframe that, but it's like you just do it to an empty, duh. So focus is pretty much right. Yeah, so okay, so I had pretty much nothing in this version here, but I'm gonna add some stuff, so I'm gonna cheat a little bit, but you will never know. Okay, so I'm gonna I'll put this here. And this is just a really simple way to make it not look fake, make it look real. So as you can see, I'm kind of lighting it at the same time even before I'm animating, which is very atypical, but I don't know, it's just been the way I've been doing it. I'm gonna make this bigger. Maybe I'm gonna do another bamboo thing. So they're not in front of this heap like that in the previous shot, but I don't know, I kind of like it like this. Maybe like one more of these. Maybe rotate this. So I think this works for now. Yeah, I like that. Okay, another thing I need to fix is put my little point lights nearby if I need them. So, okay, here's one of the issues with the fake ray tracing is when you kind of have your when you have your view of the camera panned out like this is like you're gonna get the best lighting information, because basically how the ray tracing global illumination shit works is relative to the camera is how it works. So if you have a light off screen, like over here, if it's not like if it's not in front of the camera, it's not gonna calculate the light, so you can't really have a cool light coming from off screen, like at least that's super far away. Like it's just not gonna work, which does suck, but you could kind of, you know, work around it. So typically, like a sun works good, and then also just having like a point light like nearby. Also, a good way to like see what it's gonna do is if you zoom in all the way, typically that's what it's gonna look like, not like this, which is better. And I could even like, let me just save it. Oh, I didn't save yet, but I need to save this as its own thing. Oh, I put this in the wrong spot. Well, I'm just gonna save over this because I'm not gonna need them anyways. I'm gonna render out just one frame just to see how it looks. Is my renderings okay? So 128 is what I've been using, and that seems to be a good amount of samples. So let's see how it did with the lighting. It actually did better than I thought it would. So we're getting all like the good bounce lighting, so it's probably gonna look good. It's so funny too, cause like for Eye the Terrier, I used Arnold, which is like a traditional renderer where it's not real time, and you know, every shot takes a while to render. With this, it's faster, but I think this actually looks better. I think a big reason for that is it has actual sets, unlike Eye of the Terrier, which is mostly just the boxing ring and my fake lighting on it, where it's not really getting realistic light in a way that would work. If I did Eye of the Terrier now, it would look really good because I would do it with this, but you gotta move forward, you know. I might do a sequel one day, but all I'm saying is Eye of the Terrier 2, if I ever do it, is gonna look good. Okay, so now we gotta animate. So I'm gonna lock the environment again, so now I can't accidentally move this or do anything weird. Okay, good. Oh, so this already has... Oh, okay, so this is gonna be the first shot where I test something new out. So this is the old way of doing camera shake, but I'm gonna get rid of this because there's a new method now, and it's much better. So, how long do I want this shot to be? How long is it in the original? I try to ballpark it, but okay, so 1, 2, so it's less than 2 seconds. So, but I might want to, typically when you animate it goes longer, so let's see. Probably around 55 seconds we'll do it. And it should probably, she gets up around like around frame 28. So here's how I've been doing things. The backbone behind my process. So in Blender, or in Maya, this is a lot easier, but it's not that big a deal here. So basically, what we're keyframing is on the object properties, the visibility for both the viewport and the render. So you have to do both, which is kind of annoying, but it's not a big deal, like I said. So we're going to click these, and then 28. I'm going to turn this off. So now it's keyframe to disappear on that frame. This needs to be off and keyframed in the beginning. And then on the frame this goes away, it is back. And also needs to be moved in the right spot. And technically it's keyframed to move from the top, but you're not going to see it until it's visible, so there's no point in worrying about that. So now, yeah, so that's pretty seamless. So if I was a lazy piece of shit, I could literally just leave it at that, but I'm not that lazy, and I'm only kind of a piece of shit. So here's the thing, it's kind of, she's not really looking in the right direction, so I kind of need to adjust the model a little bit. I'm going to turn keyframes off for now. I'm going to put a sculpt mode. Now, this is a little tricky usually. It's actually deforming better than it usually does. But she needs to be looking this way. This is much easier to do in VR because you could actually use your wrist to like rotate it in the axis you want easier, but it looks fine. Okay, so that's good. So the way to smooth this out is like this. So we're going to use a lattice. Give it some insets. Might need more than this. Let's do 5 on each. Okay. Do I want it on the mud? I don't think I want it on the mud, but it might look weird. We'll see. I'm gonna leave it around. I have this add-on called... Do I not have it? It's like... Yeah, where is it? That's so strange. It should be in my toolbar there. Basically what it does is it lets you keyframe things that Blender typically doesn't let you. I don't know why it doesn't let you by default keyframe points on a lattice. That just seems so stupid to me, because like it's probably one of the main reasons you'd want a lattice to begin with. But let's save this. Okay, there it is. I need this. Does it... Oh, you know what? I bet I know what it is. Yeah, okay. I'm fucking stupid. It probably only shows up, like, when you have something selectable, I'm guessing. Yep, I'm stupid. Okay, well, that's good to know, I guess. That kind of works. Okay, so insert. Yeah, so the problem is... So a lot of the times, it would benefit from, like... So I would like for less of my animating to be guesswork, but sometimes that is what it devolves into. Oh, god damn it. Now it's all fucked up. So, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna, I forget if it works with a lattice. I think it does, but we're gonna key mesh it now. This shot is a little janky, but it doesn't really matter. So now we don't need the lattice on because it's just going to do it anyways. But let's try to key mesh it a bit. Specifically, I'll get back to this part, but I want to smooth this out. Okay, so key mesh kind of works when it wants to sometimes, but let's see. So, oh god, yeah, it's being weird. I may have underestimated how drastic. You know what? I think I know how to fix this. I just gotta make it realistically look like it's leaning up, is the thing. Like a little bit. You know, it's okay. It's kind of shitty, but it works. Okay, I think I can salvage this. Yeah, this helps the deforming a little bit. It's a little shitty looking, but it's fine. Man, I don't know about this. Like, it's so obviously half-assed, but, you know. Alright, now, here's... Oh, God, my foot's asleep! Oh, it feels weird. Oh, I hate when this happens. Okay. So here's a cool new add-on I got from Ian Hubert himself. So this just kind of does the shake for you using motion tracked cameras, which is kind of the way to do it. That's way too much, obviously, but this might be the right one. Tone down. The lighting needs to change. Yeah, I think the camera really helps hide the shittiness of the animation on it. I think this is a good starting one. Alright. So, I'm pretty good with that. Like, obviously there's some shyness with, like, this being so, like, such a drastic change from that. But I feel like it works well enough. only thing though is that lighting. I don't know about that lighting because it's gonna look like this when it's rendered. Yeah, that's the problem. This is the tough part, is making the lighting work good on these parts. Yeah, see, that looks like shit. What if it was from below? No, that looks weird. But what if it was like not that much? Just the tiniest bit. That looks better, I think. Can you tell? Okay, let's have it only come into play around like here. Alright, well, this shot's almost done. So yeah, I think that'll be good. Okay. I think I can render this. Let us go. So this shouldn't take super long time. And hopefully it doesn't crash. Oh, okay, so it did crash. I was worried about this. So I kind of have two choices. I can either just, if it crashes again, I'll do the script thing, which I don't think it's ever crashed on that. Let's save this and close it. So this I could probably streamline faster, but I'm just so used to it that I don't care, because it doesn't take long anyways. Okay, so this is our shot. So this has been my typical way to make everything nice and sharp looking. So I did this color correction curve, and I up the whites and the blacks a little bit, but I kind of raise it to like here-ish, I think. So that's what I do basically, is I up the levels and desaturate it a bit. Alright, but next thing is, so this is like the asset, this little overlay that I'm kind of abusing because I used it in like the entirety of Eye of the Terrier and of this, but it's basically just this little thing I made, like this like paper. If you played Ape Out, it's kind of, it wasn't direct inspired by that, but it's basically the same thing, where it's just this kind of interchanging thing. So I set that to soft. I don't know why it's not inverted by default, because I invert it like every time, but that, and then just kind of like make it the opacity, whatever is like appropriate. It's usually around there. So that adds kind of a fake paper green effect. And that's pretty much it. Oh wait, no. So here's the other thing I abuse. Let me just get the script out. So this is a fairly simple thing where I use it like all the time, probably too much. It's called turbulent displace. You just add it to your footage. And then you go to evolution options, random scene, you hold Alt and click on the stopwatch, which lets you add a script unless you click off like a fucking idiot like me. Let's try that again. Alright, and then I have this little thing I just put in, and that does that, and then you severely change how much it does. So typically you want like that, and then just enough where you could kind of subtly see it, but not enough where it's super noticeable. So even that is too much. But it just gives life to the shot, and it kind of emulates a few things. It for one, what it kind of does is, so back when, you know, when you're watching a film, not digital, but film, like, because it's going through a projector and it's like printed material or whatever, like, if you like actually like focus in on like a single point, like a straight line, it's never going to be perfectly aligned or straight. There's always going to be a slight amount of warble to it, and this kind of emulates that to a degree. And another thing it emulates is the kind of home movies, a great show if you've ever seen that, effect where like the character's wiggling. So that's just a thing I always do. It's kind of my style or whatever, I don't know. But yeah, this shot's done, I think. So we could call that a shot. Yeah, so like always, don't export right out of After Effects. Do Adobe Media Encoder, because After Effects makes gigantic fucking files. And that's what we want. Let's put it in the Becky rendered done shots. Okay. And play. Pretty short shot. Now we put it in the Premiere file. Like a dumbass, I just leave all this shit, like all these programs open at once. You shouldn't do that because it's kind of like extremely hardware intensive, but I kind of just don't give a shit. Sucks being an Adobe bitch, but what are you gonna do? Like, I use all their programs, at least the big ones. So now we're just gonna cut this out, the board. It outputs an audio track, but you don't need that. So there we go. And that works fine. But yeah, that shot is done. And the next shot is this like special shot. I guess it's good to know like time-wise. So now I know a little shot like that takes 2 hours from beginning to end. I don't know. There's actually less animation in the next shot, even though it has more stuff going on. Well, debatably, it's a different kind of thing, but that's going to be the end of this recording, and I'm still going to plug away. So, yeah, it was fun. See you next time. Bye-bye.